Hi guys, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. We're here with a preview for Newcastle versus Everton this Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. By far the best time for a kickoff, I have to say, on a Saturday. None of this 12:30 or Sunday 1:30 or a Sunday 4 o'clock or a Monday night game. Good old typical Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff against Everton. Get your comments in below if you actually like Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs, if it's just me, or do you prefer being on TV? Just a general comment, I suppose. But it's all about the football this weekend. Newcastle back in Premier League action against an Everton side, which you have to say are quite inconsistent. We'll touch on them a little bit later on. But in terms of Newcastle, last week, 3 games, 2 wins and a defeat. I think most fans would have probably taken that and moves us 6 points clear of the bottom 3. Cardiff's currently lie in 18th place on 25 points. Newcastle in 14th on 31. So there is a bit of a gap going into this weekend's games. Newcastle really need to try and capitalise, especially on their home games. Newcastle have got 4 home games left this season: Everton, Crystal Palace, Southampton and Liverpool in May. Newcastle need to try and look at the first 3 home fixtures in particular and try and get 7 points. If it can get 7 points, pick the odd point up away from home, then Newcastle are going to be in the Premier League next season. In terms of team news, Sean Longstaff picked up an injury against West Ham, and he has a scan scheduled for today. This is being filmed on Tuesday, so it's unlikely that he's going to be involved in the game against Everton on Saturday. Who would you put in? For me, I think Jonny looked pretty good on Saturday, him and Hayden. There's always going to be a chance for likes of Jonny and Key to kind of get their place back in, because, you know, Longstaff and Hayden were not always going to play the rest of the season. It just wasn't going to happen. Rafa likes to rotate a little bit as well. Couldn't Longstaff and Hayden keep it up? There was always arguments that probably wasn't going to happen, but obviously unfortunate for Sean Longstaff that he is injured for this game, which is probably most likely as well, that he's going to be out for this game. I think he's had a fantastic start of his Newcastle career though. Since Boxing Day, since he came on against Liverpool, he's been one of the best players this season, and arguably, you know, has transformed the season for Newcastle, and he must take immense credit for that, because you look at some of the performances and the results, like of the Cardiff game, the Manchester City game, just recently. You know, that's probably the reason why we're probably going to stay in this division, is because we've picked up points against teams that we didn't think we'd get points from. Also going into this game, you know, Newcastle at home always seem to play 5 at the back. I think they'll carry on with that. There was rumours about should we go back into playing 4 at the back, but I think we've got to try and remember not to panic as Newcastle fans, because it's only 1 game which we've lost against a West Ham side who made changes for their game against Man City a couple of days beforehand, probably for the Newcastle game, because they probably thought they would have got 3 points, which they did. And in terms for us, you know, it was 3 games in 7 days. We're bound to be fatigued. We're bound to be making silly mistakes, but maybe for Newcastle, it's trying to make sure that we can get back to winning ways against Everton, and maybe making a couple of changes. There'll be a starting 11 video out this week as well, for see who we think that'll be involved on Saturday's game. But I think the big ones are going to probably be either Yedlin or Manquillo at right back. I think Yedlin, for me, I would rather have Yedlin at right back. I think he just offers a little bit more than Manquillo does. I think his pace is one of the biggest things why Newcastle Rafa likes the right back that he's got in Yedlin. That's just, obviously you'd like him to get better with his crossing, which he did against Huddersfield, and then he was dropped pretty much for the next 2 games, which is quite strange. But in terms of that position, I think Yedlin has to come back in. But let's just talk about the 3 going forward. The main 3: Almiron, Perez and Rondon. For me, all 3 on their game are electrifying. They really are. And Paul Merson, I know Newcastle fans have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Paul Merson, shall we say. He said on Saturday last week that Almiron, Perez, Rondon are the best 3 in the bottom, as in going forward. They're the best 3 in that relegation battle, and that's probably why they'll stay up. You know, Almiron's look pacey, looks like he's not afraid to take anybody on, which is nice to see. And Perez and Rondon always linking up well together to get goals for Newcastle. So they're the 3. If they're on song, they'll cause Everton problems. And Everton's defence has been up and down. It's very shaky. Zuma, is he any good? I don't know. He's physical. He is physical, but I don't think he's going to get into Chelsea's team. I think if he's still on loan at Chelsea. And Everton fans as well, what do you think of Zuma? Because I think he's suspect at best. I think Rondon will give him a handful. Michael Keane's probably been more of an improvement this season. I think when he came from last season from Burnley, he didn't really find his feet, which was quite surprising because he had an exceptional season for Burnley. He came into Everton, and it's only really now where you're kind of seeing the best of Michael Keane. He played really well against Liverpool, stopped Salah scoring a goal in the Merseyside derby. So that's probably a big thing for him, is the fact that he's getting better and better. In terms of going forward, I think the main man that we have to watch from a Newcastle point of view is Gylfi Sigurdsson. Everton spent a lot of money on Gylfi Sigurdsson. I think it was £45 million. He's the playmaker for Everton. He really looks a threat when he's got the ball. He's got a wicked set piece. He's got a great shot, and he's got an eye for a good pass as well. And I think that's one thing we have to really stop. So it might be like of the army that might just, man mark him, or try and make sure that he doesn't have enough of the ball so he can be the playmaker that all teams know what he can be, really. Richarlison, another goal threat for Everton. He can be one that we'll have to look out for as well. If he starts, but they have played Calvert-Lewin recently, scored against Cardiff, so be interesting to see if they both play, if just one plays up top, because they have been playing 4-2-3-1 for the majority of the season. In terms of Marco Silva, is there any pressure on him? I think there is. Everton fans are probably expecting to be breaking the top 6 next season with the amount of money that they spent, but since Koeman's come in, since Allardyce came in, and now Marco Silva, Everton have pretty much stayed exactly where they are. They maybe moved 1 or 2 places up in the division. But if you're spending that amount of money, you don't want to be going from 11th to 9th. You want to be trying to break that top 6. They were looking at examples of like maybe Tottenham. Well, why can't we try and compete with Tottenham? But it is an interesting one with Everton. But it's going to be a tough game regardless this weekend. I think Newcastle, will look at this game and go, this is a winnable game. I see this as a winnable game. For me, Newcastle have to look at getting 3 points in this fixture. If they do, it pulls them away even further, and I think we can start planning for Premier League football next season. Get your predictions in below. My prediction for the game on Saturday is Newcastle United 2, Everton 1. I think it'll be a close game. I think Everton might take the lead in the first half. Newcastle equalise, and then we get a late winner. That'll be nice. We don't get many late winners at Newcastle recently, so that'll be nice if we can do that. So yeah, Newcastle 2, Everton 1 is my prediction. Get your comments in below. Who do you think Rafa should go with at right back? Do you think that a Longstaff miss is influential for Newcastle? And who's Everton's biggest danger man? Is it Richarlison? Is it Sigurdsson? Is it somebody else that I've not even mentioned? Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you on the game on Saturday.